8:30. Welcome to the Wednesday, August 9th meeting of the Board of Franklin County Commissioners. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Stottlemyre?
Present.
Commissioner Harris?
Present.
Chair Dickinson?
Present.
Commissioner Dunn?
Present.
Vice Chair Waymire?
Present.
Please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Mayor Crowley said he would be glad to offer the invocation, but he said it's not his strong point, so we will let him pass. Give him a pass today. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. Oh, I just lost everything. All right, do we have any correspondence or organizational business? No? Yes?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
Guys, I'm David Reeves, most of you know from the Power of the Past Tractor Club. And the main reason I'm here is to ask for free dumping for our tractor show. To get it, well, we've got, I don't know what they're called now. It was Ottawa Sanitation, but they're gonna furnish us 2 roll-off dumpsters and we'll haul them out there. Or they will, and would like to have free dumping for that. And I want to thank you guys. We got the $1,000 grant from the Visitors Bureau, and that helps us advertising and all that kind of stuff. And like on that flyer we've got on the back, co-sponsored by the Frank County Convention and Visitors Bureau and our insurance company. And so we recognize you, and we appreciate it. And this will be our 28th show this year, and we're featuring John Deere, and should be a very good show. Last year we had about 4,500 people come in that paid, so we know we had that many. And just hoping for good weather for that weekend and a good crowd. So if you guys, like I said, we'd appreciate free dumping. So that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, Dave. Make a motion to approve the free dump for the tractor show.
Second.
Commissioner Stottlemyre?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris?
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn?
Yes.
Commissioner Waymire?
Yes.
Chair Dickinson?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can't grade too many roads today, but that's all right. We love the rain. Do we have any public comment today?
Nope.
All right. Our consent agenda today consists of minutes from the meeting on August 2nd and tax change orders in the amount of $25,341.08.
Motion to approve consent agenda. Second.
Commissioner Harris?
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn?
Yes.
Commissioner Waymire?
Yes.
Commissioner Stottlemyre?
Yes.
Chair Dickinson?
Yes. 2 items of business today. The first one is to approve the fiscal year 2023 adult fourth quarter budget amendment. Dustin Browning, good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. This morning, we have for you a budget amendment we need to make for the fourth quarter of our fiscal year 23 adult funds. When these budget adjustments total over $5,000, it requires the approval of our advisory board and the county commissioners. And so for the fourth quarter of fiscal year 23, we needed to change this by a total of $8,488.90. These are just certain shortages and line items that we had, and we're moving some surplus funds we had in other line items to cover that. Overall, we were under budget for the year on both our adult and juvenile grants, and so this is just moving a couple line items to cover other ones. So I'm happy to answer any questions you all might have.
Pretty straightforward. We've done it before, so.
Yeah, and just to kind of clarify, your year is not our year, so.
Correct. Our fiscal year runs July 1st to June 30th.
Right, so this is the end of your year, so.
Correct. So we're wrapping up the end of our fiscal year 23. And this budget adjustment was also approved by our advisory board as of yesterday.
All right. So to approve this, it would be, I make a motion to approve the fiscal year 2023 adult fourth quarter budget amendment.
Motion approved.
Second.
Commissioner Dunn?
Yes.
Commissioner Waymire?
Yes.
Commissioner Stottlemyre?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris?
Yes.
Chair Dickinson?
Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thanks, Dustin.
All right, and then our second item of business is to consider for approval an SRO contract between Franklin County and Central Heights School District, USD 288, Sheriff Jeff Richards.
Good morning, Commissioners. This is pretty straightforward. This is, we entered into a contract with Central Heights last year for an SRO. We fulfilled that contract. They are one-year contracts that need to be, they have the option, both parties have the option to either renew it or not renew it each year. It's in the best interest of both the Sheriff's Office and the Central Heights School District to continue with the program. As you can see, there is a slight increase, is about a 3% increase that makes up for the cost increase that the county has on the benefits, as well as the salary increases that would be there. So the total of this is $74,422. They make quarterly installment payments on that to the county. And this has already been signed by the school district. No, there are no provisions of the contract that change other than the dollar amount.
Are they still paying for this from a grant? Wasn't there not a grant involved to start
There
with?
is, unless they have one, they may have gotten a grant for part of it, but this is they pay the entire,
Yeah,
Central
yeah,
Heights pays the
absolutely.
entire cost, salary and benefits. What the county provides is that we still provide a vehicle and we provide equipment. And then the training for the deputy assigned there comes out of our regular training budget. So, but the salary and benefits are fully covered by Central Heights.
Yeah, I think even if they did start with a grant, the success of this program in the last year, they're going to figure out a way to make it
Yeah.
move forward. So
Yes.
it's been great for them. All right. Any other questions? All right, so an affirmative motion would be, I make a motion to approve entering into an SRO contract between Franklin County and USD 288.
Motion approved. Second.
Commissioner Waymire?
Yes.
Commissioner Stottlemyre?
Yes.
Commissioner Harris?
Yes.
Commissioner Dunn?
Yes.
Chair Dickinson?
Yes, and are we moving forward with the one with West
With
Franklin?
West Franklin, we are still in the process of that. The move that we thought we were going to be able to make to get that filled, to make that happen, is not gonna be able to happen. So we are
still working on it.
we're still working with the school district out there to get that. It's still the desire, they still have a strong desire for us to get an SRO there, and we want to, but staffing is gonna be an issue to get that done.
Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to staff reports. Derek?
Yeah, just a reminder, we have our budget hearing tonight. It's pretty typical for Janet and I, but I would not expect a comprehensive presentation. As you all know, we do most of our work during the individual budget planning sessions that we have. So we will have a presentation, but it'll be just a few slides. I will tell you that obviously we are staying revenue neutral. That has resulted in another 4-something mil decrease, has our mill to the lowest it's been since 1997. So certainly values are up, which we don't control, but we do control the mill, and we've brought it down exponentially, particularly over the last couple of years. So we'll talk a little bit more about that tonight, but absent the public showing up and having extensive comments, I don't anticipate a super long hearing. So that's all I have. Thanks, Diane.
All right. Dustin, do you have any more? Paul B., do you have anything for us today? All right. Sheriff, you have something else?
I just wanted to update the board as well as let the public know. On our homicide, we recently had a homicide that we were working that investigation. And I just want to clarify the reason for bringing in the KBI. Initially, when this happened, we did have the KBI come in with their crime scene unit to allow our crime scene team to work alongside them to get that experience and the training that they need, because that's a pretty high-level case. And then a few days into this, we needed more assistance just with staff. I want to assure each of you that our staff is very capable. They are very professional, know what they're doing. They were doing a good job, but there's only so many people and so many hours in a day to fill. When we had asked KBI to take a more active role in this is because they have more resources and more personnel. So that was purely the reason for that. It was not because of any lack of ability in our staff. And I think it's important for, our staff has been told that, they understand that. I think it's important for each of you to also understand that as well. Our people are very capable. They're still working the case. They're working alongside the KBI agents. Our detectives are still doing interviews and doing a lot of the work. But we just needed resource assistance, and that's the main reason that KBI exists. So I wanted you guys to know that that's why that happened. It was not because of a lack of ability in our staff. They're doing a great job. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. So
We were reminded again this week that every time you guys put your uniform on and go out, you are putting your lives on the line, so.
that is correct. We have authorized, I'm not wearing mine right now, but we've authorized the wearing of morning bands for the Fairway police officer who was shot and killed, doing something that our deputies and local law enforcement do on a regular basis, which is, chasing down a stolen vehicle. We understand the inherent dangers of the job, and yet they are willing to go out and do that every day to keep the public safe. So we have the utmost respect for our people. I have a lot of pride in the work that our people do, and I think you've heard me say it before, and they hear me say it. I'm proud of them, not for what they do, but for how they do it, and how they go about doing this job and doing it. Treating people with respect is very it's very important to me, and it's admirable for what they do. But I appreciate your comments on that.
Also, congratulations are in order. Our sheriff was recently named as Sheriff of the Year by the Small and Rural Law Enforcement Executive Association. We know we have great employees, but when it's nationally recognized, congratulations.
Thank you very much. It is an honor. It's pretty humbling, but I think it's a testament to the work that is done within our organization. So, again, I was honored, very surprised. I didn't expect to go to Virginia and receive an award, but it is an honor, so thank you very much.
Oh, you're very deserving. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeff, do you have a TIPS hotline number that people have information about homicides or anything else?
It's 242-3800, I believe is what we put out, correct? It's the dispatch non-emergency line is where people should call, and we included that on at least one of our media release things, but they can still call that number, and we get that information routed to the right person.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Justin, anything from you today? All right, David Lee.
All right, several things this morning. We had the storm recently. We are back to mostly normal maintenance activities. We still have some piles of limbs and trees that we're picking up, but we don't have our entire staff dedicated to it any longer. We did send over a couple of our folks and a couple of trucks to help out the city of Ottawa Monday and Tuesday. And we were glad to lend a hand. The bulk of our stuff was done, and so we sent some folks over to help them. So they're done with that now. Also, last Thursday, we opened up the transfer station to anybody that had spoiled food. We had about 35 people drop off about 2.5 tons of spoiled food over that day and a half period. So pretty good response to that, even on short notice. So that worked out well. And we should have preliminary numbers for our cleanup effort by the end of this week. In fact, we'll be working on that today to make sure all of our items are documented and whatnot. So we'll be able to get that to Mr. Winters so that he can submit that. On the municipal demolition program, if you recall, the city of Richmond was the first community to take part in that. They had 2 structures that they took down, total of about 100, just over 152 tons between the 2 houses. We were able to reimburse, or we're going to reimburse just under $3,400 for the first structure that they took down. And it cost, totally, the cost to the county was just under $6,000 for the 2 structures. But now the city of Richmond has, a couple of lots in town that hopefully will be able to be redeveloped with new structures to help out that community. We had a couple of glitches in the system being the first time out. Mostly, it always comes down to communication. The only thing that I plan to change really is having a face-to-face meeting with both the city and the contractor before we start actually the demolition activities. I think if we have that meeting, the small glitches that we had will be sorted out and it'll be smooth sailing from there. So first time out, very happy, and even the glitches were minor in nature. Osborne Terrace, the bridge that we're replacing, they got underway on Monday. They have got a tremendous amount of trees and vegetation to clear. They were out there, I was out there yesterday, and they're making headway. They'll be doing the clearing. Well, the rain today is probably going to hold them up a little bit, but they were scheduled to be done with most of the clearing by the end of the week. I suspect that it'll stretch into the middle of next week now, and then they'll move into the dirt work. But really impressed with the contractor, our main contractor, very organized, a lot of communication, so really happy about that. Old 50, those plans are coming along. I had a meeting with them, with the engineer on Monday, and I've got another one scheduled for next Monday. At this point, they remain on pace to be able to have this ready to advertise and bid towards the end of August, early September, so that remains on track, and I'm happy with how that is going. And finally, Evergy is, and it's a coincidence, but they are replacing a string of power poles along Old 50, basically from Eisenhower to Rock Creek. And I've been in communication with them for quite a long time through that to make sure that, our future construction and what they're doing aren't going to interfere. It's going to be fine. But they do have 2 power poles that they're going to replace, and they will need guy wires. And these 2 poles are on our tower site. We own the property where the tower is along Old 50. The existing poles that they're going to replace have guy wires, but they don't have any easements. They're in the right-of-way, but the guy wires stretch onto our property, and so I've asked them to prepare easement documents. It's a 10 by 20 little rectangle to be able to put these guy wires down on our property. I've spoken with Derek, and I've also gone over it with Tom. We're all in agreement that there's not going to be any harm or encumbrances to our property that are going to be difficult to work around or anything like that. So I've got the easement documents, and unless you all have any questions or concerns, we'd like to get those signed and sent back to them today if possible. And that's all I have.
Old Highway 50, what do we, I had somebody ask and I couldn't remember, what time frame do we think we're going to be working on that?
So it's my opinion and the engineer's opinion too, that how this will go is we'll get a bid in the, I'm going to say the September timeframe. There are 14 drainage structures along that route that we have to do something with because we're widening out the road. More than likely, we're going to extend those structures on the north side, and we're going to shift the center line alignment just a little bit north, and so that we're not having to extend both sides of those structures, which reduces cost and is a little more convenient for us. So we anticipate that whoever gets this bid will be able to spend this year, the winter months, extending those culverts, there's box culverts and that sort of thing. So they'll have time to do that without disrupting a lot of traffic this winter. And then in the spring, whenever conditions are better, they will start the road project in earnest. So they'll see a little activity this year. Bulk of it will be next year.
Awesome. All right, we need to circle back around. Tom Winter, we need to hear from you today. I apologize. I knew you were there and yes.
You don't have to hear from me.
Oh, I think we do.
Everybody did an outstanding job while I was gone, so I have to just put my hats off for that, because everybody did. We obviously had the thunderstorm that came through and did a lot of damage to us. Our response efforts just did what they were supposed to do. And we're kind of gone out of that response element and into the recovery phase. And I've reached out to all the entities in the county because we're working on that public assistance piece now, whether or not we're going to qualify for public assistance under the Robert Stafford Act. What that is for Franklin County is we have to hit a number of 115,000 public non-insured damage, which unfortunately the city of Ottawa, just in electrical, I think has got us covered on that. The second portion of that is the state's threshold. So once we make our threshold, the state has to make their threshold of about $5.2 million of public non-insured damage. That's a bigger number to hit. But the state works with the National Weather Service, and they're actually able to find a link between storms and stuff like that. So they've actually bunched a bunch of these storms together, and hopefully the bunch of storms together, we can actually hit that number and be able to get reimbursement. And what that reimbursement is it's 75% from the federal government. And then if we get that, the state will give us 10%. So actually the county is out about 15% of our total costs. That's a pretty big deal. When we looked back for the last major award we had $2 million reward. And that was expenses that we already paid out. So we're just getting reimbursed for what we've already done. That covers overtime, any type of overtime we did. I know Christy had another crew on for just that incident for the overtime, so we can get some of those costs recovered from that. Our equipment time and personnel time, whatever emergencies that we have, and that's for the entire county. I've already got, some people said that they weren't affected, or they're not going to put in any application, which is fine in the county, but I know the city's going to be working with stuff, and I know the county, I think we're going to have money there to put that stuff in. It's just one of those things. I just know that my record remains unbeaten since I've been the director, that I have not brought you a disaster declaration. I think Derek brought that, so that counts, right?
True, yeah.
So, yeah, we're just going through that process and getting that over. Response-wise, everything went pretty well. We got some things that we need to tighten up and whatnot, and I think we got some policy issues that we'll work on, make things a little better, but overall, I think it went pretty good.
Even the city of Ottawa posted yesterday that the fire department, their fire department responded to 79 calls last week. Yeah, that's a lot in 1 week.
Yeah, it's busy. It gets real busy. So that's one of those things why we train and do some of the things that we do. So when this stuff kind of happens, we can kind of switch into autopilot and kind of prioritize and go that route. So we kind of train for some of this stuff to work. We don't like to play this game. Again, I'd rather go someplace else and help somebody else every day of the week. I don't want to do it at home. But at the end of the day, this is the reason why we work for this. So
I said this last week. obviously you weren't here, but you took a lot of calls from Christy and I while you were on vacation. And certainly, we both appreciate that. The organization appreciates that. Hate to bother you, and it's rare for me to bother staff on vacation, but given the circumstance, this is your expertise, so really appreciate that. We also talked, Tom and I, about trying to hit that 5.2 million threshold and how the state links storms. We know that Kansas City got hit with the same storm, and it's tempting to think, well, there you go. The problem is, up there, all the electrical work gets done by Evergy, or so much of it does. Evergy being private, that can't count towards that 5.2, and that really hurts us because we would blow that away if we could
absolutely.
count that, but, so I think it'll be close to see if we're gonna get there.
I know that Great Bend got hit really hard, kind of same type storm, went through Great Bend, and they had a lot of damage and whatnot, so it'll be interesting to see how this all kind of plays out, see how close we get, and see if we have to go, lobby some of our congressmen to say, hey, can we put this in front of the president, see if he'll sign it, so. We'll see.
ACK get hit much?
Well, this same storm went through, so,
They're a public, that's the only big public utility
Yeah.
there.
so it'll be interesting to see how much damage they got in the Kansas City area. Tree limbs and all that jazz, so. All right.
It's the trees. Yeah. All right, thank you. Janet?
Just want to let you guys know that the revenue neutral rate statements are out and you should be seeing them in your mailboxes soon if you haven't already. All the school districts exceeded, so everyone countywide should have gotten a mailer. So if someone didn't get a mailer, they can let me know and I can call up that document and get it out to them if they need it, but I would be looking for them sometime this week. I know some of them have already hit the ground, so they're getting out there.
Great, thank you. All right, Don?
Yeah, I did attend the Wellsville Chamber meeting yesterday, and I'd been over at the site. They demoed all the concrete poured at the ambulance a week ago, and now they're just waiting for the cure time before they start. And I think it's a lot bigger when you see all the concrete poured and no building there. You think it's nice size. I mean, it's amazing how big it really looks once you get it out there all by itself with no building on it or anything. So, a lot of concrete looked really good. They're coming in real good with this new street that'll be coming back there too. They've already got the one where we first pulled in, clear back. Now they're coming around. They've been coming around to the police station and the ambulance station with the new street there, all curb and gutter, cuttered and everything. So that's looking really good too. Chamber meeting, they did elect a new president and vice president yesterday. They talked quite a bit about the car show that'll be coming up there and their participation and talked about thank the county very much for they're moving forward on their brochure now with their tourism brochure. They was moving forward anyhow, but now we're in it and part of it. So I think it'll be, come around real quick with what they're doing on it. It's been a little more tourism money went to the Lane Fair. I did go down there and they had a heck of a crowd. I bet there was at least 2,000 people at their parade down there. It's a lot of people to see tractors and the Central Heights band and a few. This was an off election year, so it wasn't near as many participants in the parade and everything. But still, it's nice to see a small community like that have that big of a turnout for a small thing like that. That's about all I got.
They still working on the bridge in Wellsville? Are they still working on the bridge?
Yeah.
Will they ever
The
get
only
that
other thing I
bridge?
might mention, Paul, I didn't catch the name of the company that's building the new homes. They just bought 18 or 20 more lots. Yeah, 15 more lots. Well, I guess 18 is with what they already have. And they're concrete built homes. But they call them bulletproof homes. But I guess that makes pretty good towards insurance companies as far as wind damage and tornadoes and so forth with that kind of construction like that, concrete. But it sounds like that's a pretty good thing and moving forward with that. So it's nice they had them come and visit with the chamber and discuss everything that's happening there too. So that's all I got.
Right, anything? No? Anything for you?
Yes, I was gonna ask David, I've had some people call me about the weeds along, Old 59 Highway going north out of town, along the highway. They're getting up into the signs and almost as tall as the mailboxes along there. I know he's dealing with the storm damage. I didn't know what the mowing situation was.
Yeah, we have not had anybody in a mower in probably 2 weeks now. But our seasonal folks are still with us, and I think today they were planning to be back doing regular maintenance, so we'll take a look at that.
Okay. Also, I went to the Farm Bureau annual meeting last Wednesday night. They recognized a couple of Century Farms, Marita Combs from Pomona. Their family farm was over 100 years in their family, and the Aldermans, Dave and Linda Aldermans, was a Century Farm also north of town, so they recognized those and had a nice turnout for the Farm Bureau annual meeting. And last Friday, the new designated Veterans Parade Committee has rebranded themselves, and they're called now the Franklin County Honors, and they had a ceremony down at the memorial last Friday morning. At a chamber coffee down there to just kind of explain what they're kind of consolidating a lot of the activities and to kind of to make them better and honor veterans, and had a nice little presentation by Buck Bradley. He's kind of the spearhead of that group now, and it's going to be a little better coordination for those activities for veterans and honor those folks. So that's all I have.
All right. I did attend the chamber coffee last Friday and I had actually gone to the Tuesday night, the meeting the Tuesday before was a 2-hour meeting to get information about the Franklin County Honors. One of the things that they're going to do is, I don't know if you've ever been to Garnett or to the Emporia, where they have the flags of veterans. They are going to start doing that. They have an initial starting of like 110. They're going to start all the way down Main Street on all the light poles, and then extend it as and I think that's awesome way to honor our veterans. It's very visual out there. They're going to put them up, I think, between the middle of October to the middle of November. But a lot of new, younger leadership. Buck Bradley said that some of the other leadership had gotten seasoned, and I think that's kind of, they're wore out. They've been doing it a long time, and so to get new people in there with new ideas is great. The city of Princeton met on Monday night. Briley Rivers was there, sheriff from the sheriff's department. I guess it's a program that they had pre-COVID, where they had like liaisons, I never can say that word, between the sheriff's office and the different cities. And so he's going to be between the city of Princeton and the sheriff's office, kind of their contact person if they have any questions or any concerns. So I think that was awesome, and he's going to try and get to as many meetings as he can. The chamber the chamber board met on yesterday morning. And then just wanted to bring up just some information on United Way, something that Commissioner Dunn said last week, that the county does give money to the chamber or to the United Way. The United Way receives $5 a month from Franklin County. And although they appreciate all the money they get, $60 does not go a long way toward their mission. And it's contributions like that from organizations like us that are making them question where they're going to be able to be sustainable and continue as an organization in Franklin County. Just putting it all out there. All right, we have a budget meeting this morning this evening at 6 o'clock. Anybody that's interested in hearing about our budget is welcome to attend. Otherwise, looking to adjourn.
So move. Second.